For thousands of years, the Valyrian freehold ruled over much of western Essos, using dragons and ancient magic to conquer the Ghiscari, Andal, and Rhoynar civilizations. Though none could equal them in battle, the Doom of Valyria came in 114 BC, when a terrible disaster destroyed their cities, dragons, and government. Many believe this event was a result of the 14 Flames erupting, a chain of volcanoes where their dragons were first discovered. Over on Dragonstone, House Targaryen, a minor noble family, survived the Doom, thanks to Daenerys the Dreamer, daughter of the Dragon Lord Aenar Targaryen, who had a vision about the tragedy 12 years earlier, prompting the family to move to this faraway island. In Qohor, Aurion, another surviving Dragon Lord, declared himself first Emperor of Valyria, and raised an army of 30,000, leading them to reconquer his homeland. However, many say the horrors of the Doom continued to haunt this area, and so the Dragon Lord and his army were never heard from again. With the Valyrian freehold gone from the world, the lands of Essos descended into chaos and war, resulting in what came to be known as the Century of Blood. In the west, the power vacuum left behind led Volantene, oldest of the 9 free cities, to declare themselves as the rightful heirs of Valyria, sending their armies to conquer Myr and Lys. Governed by triarchs elected by freeborn landowners, it was the political party known as the Tigers who rallied the city to war, as they represented the old aristocracy eager for expansion and conquest. Yet they soon overreached by attacking nearby Tyrosh, prompting nearly all the city-states of western Essos to get involved in the conflict. Pentos quickly allied with Tyrosh, while Myr and Lys rebelled. Braavos then sent ships to help Lys, while Qohor and Norvos destroyed Volantene ships at the Battle of Dagger Lake. Even outside powers became involved, with the Andal king Argilac Durrandon leading a host to the disputed lands, where they repelled an army sent to reconquer Myr. The Dragon Lord Aegon Targaryen also turned against Volantene, riding his dragon to Lys and destroying the fleet sent against the city. Forced to retreat behind their walls, Volantene was now severely weakened and subject to raids by Eastern Horse Lords. In addition, they suffered another military disaster when they sent a fleet to reconquer the Valyrian Peninsula, which vanished and was never heard from again. After a century of failures, the Tigers were replaced by the Elephant Party, supported by merchants and moneylenders who wanted peace and trade with their neighbors. As a result of the years of war, conflict continued in the disputed lands even after Volantene withdrew, with Myr, Lys, and Tyrosh embroiled in conflicts over border disputes, resulting in the creation of a number of sellsword companies. The Century of Blood also brought about the rise and fall of Gogossos, sometimes referred to as the 10th Free City, having been founded in the Basilisk Isles near Sothorios by the Ghiscari Empire, before becoming a penal colony for the Valyrian freehold. Following the Doom, it became a pirate den that grew rich off the slave trade until they were devastated by a plague known as the Red Death, seeing 9 of every 10 die in agony. In the east, the Horse Lords of the Dothraki, a brutal race of nomadic warriors, united under the powerful ruler Talmengo, counseled by his mother, the Witch Queen Doshi. Riding west, they destroyed a number of ancient kingdoms and cultures, including the cities of Sarnor, a powerful civilization ruled by the Tallmen, descendants of the ancient Fisher Queens. Unwilling to unify against the threat, some Sarnori even allied with the Dothraki in order to take down rivals within their own culture. This, however, left them vulnerable, resulting in the loss of a number of cities, including the fabled waterfall city of Sathar, which was renamed Yali Kamai, meaning wailing children. Next fell the city of Kasath, which became known as the Broken Gods, while Gornath fell sometime later, renamed the City of Rats. However, the Dothraki would not remain united for long, as Calmengo was eventually replaced by his son Calmoro, who was then killed by Calhoro. Horo would then fall to a rival, causing the Khalasar to splinter into smaller factions, competing with each other as they continued to conquer the area. Next, they burned Salosh, the City of Scholars, destroying their great library and renaming it the City of Sickness. After defeating Kaith, Rathalar, and Hornoth, they rode against Mardosh, the City of Soldiers, which was able to resist them for 6 years, holding out to the point of starvation. The tallmen of the city then killed their wives and children before making a final charge through the gates, fighting until the last man. As a result, the ruined remains came to be known as the City of the Blood Charge. Losing so many of their holdings, the remaining Sarnori at last realized their peril and united under the High King Mazer Alexi. Gathering at the Field of Crows, a combined army of 80,000 mounted warriors rode against Sarnori forces made up of 6,000 scythed chariots, with 10,000 armored riders behind them, as well as 10,000 light horsemen and 100,000 spearmen and slingers. Despite the Sarnori advantage in numbers, they were defeated, resulting in the deaths of Mazer Alexi, 6 lesser kings, and more than 70 lords and heroes. After their victory, Khal Loso went on to sack the city of Sarnath, seat of Sarnori High Kings, leaving its ruins to be named the City of Worms. Saris then fell as well, but most of its population fled before the arrival of Khal Zego, who burned the area and renamed it the City of Filth. Only one small Sarnori settlement survived the devastation, with the port city of Soth protected through the support of nearby powers like Ibn and Lorath. It was in this land alone that the Tall Men continued on, with less than 20,000 when they once numbered millions. In addition, the Dothraki conquered the Valyrian colony of Issaria, renaming it the City of Corpses, and rode against the settlement of Ibish, where the Ibbenese fought back, winning several victories, and destroying the great army of Khal Anko. But eventually the relentless Dothraki prevailed, leading the Ibbenese to abandon the area, which was renamed the City of Cowards. Other Khals led their warriors to the Kathi city-states of the Red Waste, conquering all but Karth, which was protected by its massive triple walls, and which continued to thrive by focusing on sea trade, controlling the Jade Gates to profit from merchants traveling between east and west. Some Dothraki Khalasars even attempted crossing the Bone Mountains, but were halted at the cities of Bayasabad, Sabiriana, and Kaya which blocked their way. After raining destruction upon vast swaths of territory, Khal Temo, a Dothraki war chief, decided to push further west and invade the free cities. At the Battle of Qohor, also known as the Battle of the 3000, the city's government hired the Bright Banners and Second Sons mercenary companies to accompany their defense forces, but were quickly defeated, with the sellswords fleeing the battlefield and abandoning the city. However, reinforcements soon arrived when an envoy sent to Slaver's Bay returned with 3,000 Unsullied warriors. The Unsullied had long been considered some of the greatest fighters in the world, castrated and trained their whole lives for battle. The discipline and ferocity of the Unsullied allowed them to repel 18 cavalry charges and 3 archer attacks, killing over 12,000 Dothraki warriors, including their leader Khal Temo and his sons. Defeated, the Horse Lords, who were known to grow their hair long, then marched through the city gates and cut off their braids, throwing them down to the ground as a symbol of their surrender. Of the 3,000 Unsullied who fought that day, only 600 survived, yet they so impressed the Qohori government that the city became permanently defended by an Unsullied army whose soldiers were given braids of hair to adorn their weapons as a symbol of their victory over the Dothraki. This battle then ended the western migration of the Horse Lords, but they continued to dominate the lands of central Essos, which came to be known as the Dothraki Sea, continuing to live nomadically and establishing Vez Dothrak as the only permanent city, located by the Mother of Mountains, and a lake they called the Womb of the World. Do your shopping on Amazon? Then why not use the link in the description box below to either the Canadian, American, or UK Amazon sites, where you support the channel with every purchase at no extra cost to you. So if you do your shopping on Amazon anyway, why not use the link below and help support CivilizationEx? A special thanks to all those who contribute to CivilizationEx, like David Little Bear Chromie, Amethyst Honeywine, Red Priest Nemo the Flame of the Sea, Fabian Keen Eye Flowers, and Jampo the Mad. If you would like to help CivilizationEx, click on the Patreon link, and please be sure to like and subscribe, and click on the links to see more.